Hey ladies, how's everybody doing? I just got done with a very heavy lift, so my brain is like, ooh, ooh, but I'm ready for uh, to teach you basically about portion sizes. This is a question we've been getting a lot. Like, how do I know how many grams of food equals the amount of grams of macros that I need, right? Great. Well, please say hello as you're coming on. Who else is working out today? Let me know what you're training. I'd love to know and cheer you on and say, way to get that lift in. Love it. Okay, great. Give me just a moment. I'm going to just pin this video at the top of our Facebook group, Macro Tracking and Weightlifting for Women. If you're not in there, make sure to get in there because we like to share lots of research-based tips, tricks, and education on how to live a healthy and fit lifestyle in a sustainable way, right? Really for the rest of your life. Okay, perfect. Great. Well, let's go ahead and dive in. I did want to show you some examples, which is why I have my Fitness Pal pulled up here. So we'll talk through that. Hey, Corey. Yeah, I get it, girl. Doing arm day this morning or upper. Yeah. Sorry, literally my brain after doing deadlifts, I'm like, what does that say? Sorry, ladies. Bear with me. Okay, great. So why do we want to make sure that our macros are balanced, meaning we have balance in each meal? And why do we want to make sure our food is spaced out throughout the day? Does anybody know? Like, why is this even important? Because there's a lot of people out there saying, if it fits your macros, we're good to go. It's like, that's actually not true from a health standpoint and a results-based standpoint. So I want to kind of just talk about that first. So go ahead and share if you know, but I'll go ahead and start to share as well. So when we have balanced macros throughout the day, you're going to have more sustained energy throughout the day. So you're not going to have these ups and downs and crashes and high energy and then you're tired, right? It's going to be a lot more sustained energy throughout the day. Also, when you're balancing and spacing your macros, your hormones are going to have a much easier time being regulated because of your lifestyle, right? Because you're eating healthy foods spaced out throughout the day. Again, instead of like massive meals or like not eating throughout the day, massive meals at night. Doing that approach is definitely going to negatively affect fat loss, but you're also going to kind of feel like crap. It's really going through like binge cycles, right? So you certainly want to avoid that. Perfect. Great. Okay, let's see. Now, a great rule of thumb that's really, really easy to go by is depending on how many times per day you want to eat, you can divide your macro by that, right? So for me, I'm doing 125 grams of protein per day. I actually eat like 6 times per day, but let's go with 4 because I like to put my protein in my main meals. So I would do 125 divided by 4. So about 30 grams of protein would be a meal goal, which for me it is, or I would say between 30 and 40 grams of protein per meal is what I try to hit. Okay, right, 65 grams of fat, 245 grams of carb currently. I am in a slight deficit. I don't track super consistently. I've been maintaining my goal for about 4 years now. So I don't really need to track all the time, but sometimes if I know I am eating, quite a bit over 2,600 calories consistently, I'm like, okay, let's rein it back in. And I do tend to go, I just like to have this slight deficit instead of maintenance for me personally, because I'm off and on for tracking. It helps keep me a little bit tighter, but everyone's different. Okay, so I want to share with you really quick. Let me remove this. And I have a rule of thumb for just different foods. Again, this really varies. I have some great testimonials here. I love these ladies. But here are some great rules of thumb so you ladies can see this, okay? So about 85 to 120 grams of meat. Now, I want to pause for a minute. We really like to work in grams as much as possible. It's a small unit of measure, which means it's more accurate, right? We never, ever, ever go by cups and tablespoons. Oftentimes, it's really inaccurate. There's so many ups and downs, like there's air, right, in the cup. There's so much air. In the tablespoon of peanut butter, it's heapy, right? So cups and tablespoons, man, it can throw off results so much. So we like to just be as accurate as possible. The food scale is also much faster. If it feels slower, you just need more time to practice. So give yourself the grace. Okay, great. So 85 to 120 grams of meat is about 3 to 4 ounces. Very healthy portion size. At restaurants, you can always assume they're giving you 4 ounces of meat unless they specify. Otherwise, it's typically about 4 ounces. Eating 6 to 8 ounces per meat in one meal, personally would not recommend. Again, I'm talking to women. I'm not talking to 260-pound men. Great. So now for carbohydrate options like some rice, pasta, sweet potatoes, cooked pasta, doing about 60 to 175 grams is great. Huge difference, right? Who would be eating the 175 grams? I would, right? Other women who are eating 2,000 calories or above, eating 175 grams of rice may be totally okay. But if you're eating like maybe 1,500 calories, you may want to do like 90, 75, depending what other carb sources are in that meal, 60, right? If you're doing rice and beans, 2 carb sources, so maybe we drop both to 60, for example. I will show you this on my fitness pal in just a sec. Okay, now fruit, so remember this is per serve. This is serving size. I wish I could get this out of my way, out of our way. Okay, so 150 to 200 grams of veggies. I like to do about 200 grams. For some women who aren't used to so many vegetables, 250 grams can be so much, right? 150 grams can sometimes be a lot if you're first getting into vegetables, so maybe shoot for 100, but you do really want to start beefing this up. 150 is a great serving size for veggies as long as you're getting in like 4 servings per day at that. This you can maybe do like 2 or 3, right, at 200. Okay, 100 to 300 grams of fruit. Now, some of you ladies have felt confused about if I have 100 grams of fruit, which is carb, I don't have that much carb in my day. It doesn't equate like that, right? 100 grams of fruit might be like 6 grams of carb, right? That's what we're here to talk through today, and I'll show you that. Okay. And then about 125 to 200 grams of like cottage cheese or Greek yogurt is a good portion size. And then about 15 to 30 grams of nuts or nut butter. Now, as a reminder, these portion sizes are for women who lift weights. If you are on keto, I'm not talking to you at all. Like this is not for you, okay? We are talking to women who have balanced diets, who are eating whole foods or are trying to figure out what to eat for your body. I'm just giving you like generally healthy portion sizes for daily living and definitely for lifting weights, which the primary fuel source of lifting weights is carbohydrate, right? The primary fuel source after a few miles of marathon running is fat, right? If you are a marathon runner, i.e., possibly more on the keto side, again, this is not for you. This is for women who we have balanced, healthy diets just for sustainable life, okay? All right. Ladies, I'm going to share my fitness pal again, but any questions that come up throughout this video, please let me know, and I will go in at the end and I will answer all of them. Great. Okay. So now, one of the biggest vital pieces is making sure you can see the amount of macros per meal, right? So I think some of you are getting thrown off by portion sizes, but really it's not that big a deal. What you really need to know is how many macros am I eating for the whole meal? If you don't have that information, that is a drastic problem, and I recommend getting it fixed right away within the next like 30 minutes if you can. Otherwise, you have no idea if your meals are even balanced. It's crazy. Okay, so let's just use, for example, I drink a Lean Body Shake literally every morning because they're so easy. I am a busy female professional like many of you. I don't have a lot of time to eat. No, excuse me. I have it. I don't make it, right? We all have it. We need to make the time. But sometimes it's like we just need quicker options. And so Lean Body, I do part of it in my coffee, and then I just kind of sip it the rest of the morning. As you can see, ladies, under breakfast, 9 grams of carb, 9 grams of fat, 40 grams of protein. Is this perfectly balanced with my macros? Heck no. Why? I have like 250 grams of carb and only 9 for breakfast. Crazy, right? So to have it more balanced, i.e. not eating a ton of carbs in one meal, I really do need to add carbohydrate here. Okay, so something I could do, and also a great way to get in fruit is I can add a banana. Very easy grab and go, right? Drop my son off with the nanny and I just have my shake and my banana, and I can just eat it on the go. Now looking at my macros per meal, now I have 36 grams of carb, 9 grams of fat, and 40 grams of protein. Fab. I love it. This is, for me personally, with my macros, this is really what I like to hit. About 5 to 20 grams of protein per meal. You can definitely think about this, like save this in the back of your mind. 5 to 20 grams of fat, sorry, not protein. Oh my gosh. 5 to 20 grams of fat per meal, about 25 to 45 grams of carb per meal. That does vary depending on how much carb you have. And then about 25 to 40 grams of protein per meal. Again, just depending on how much you have for the day. Okay, great. So I would actually call this part good. I'm not really a sit-down breakfast eater. It is like such grab and go. Okay, now I won't walk through the whole pre-planning of macros. If you want help of like how to actually hit compliance for all 3 macros, just comment pre-planning video in the comments or click my name, send me a message asking for that. I'll send you over that resource. It's a 16-minute video. It walks you through step-by-step how to pre-plan your whole day. It works through portion sizes as well, so we definitely want to get that over to you if you'd like it. Okay, great. Now, let's just say that you're totally new to this and you need to put in something for lunch and you have chicken in your fridge and you're like, okay, how much am I even supposed to put, right? So I get rotisserie chicken. Ounces is fine too. Let's go gram. So let's say you're like, I have no idea. I'm just going to guess. So I'm going to just type 250. And then you're like, oh my gosh, that is 64 grams of protein. Right? We know that's way too much because you want to aim for about 25 to 40 grams of protein per meal for most women, okay? Again, just to really balance and space your macros throughout the day. I see questions and comments coming in. Love it. Keep them coming. For the questions, again, I'll answer all of them at the end of this video. So keep them coming. Okay, so yeah, so let me delete that. So we know like, oh my gosh, that's way too much. If we want about 25 to 40, why don't we cut it in half, right? So why don't we do 125? 32 grams. Fabulous. But here's the problem. So let's go ahead and click that. Okay, so we're looking at lunch macros. So let me scroll up right there. So we have 32 grams of protein, but we still need carbs and fat. Protein looks good, right? But again, here's the problem. Let's say we're eating tacos. And let's say we're going to do some corn tortillas. You don't always want to do the high fiber tortillas. Those are great to do for sure if you're struggling with fiber, but here's what happens. We like to have most ladies eat 500 grams of veg and 300 grams of fruit per day. A, to give them loads of vitamins and minerals. B, to help them feel really full and satiated, especially when they're in a deficit, right? And C, to help them get their fiber. So when you're eating all of that yummy produce and getting all those nutrients, and eating high fiber tortillas, oftentimes your fiber is too high, like 35 grams per day for some women will cause a lot of constipation. So if you're finding that you're eating super healthy, but you're really bloated and backed up and the scale is going up and you're freaking out and you feel puffy, check your fiber levels, okay? If you're around 25 grams of fiber, perfect. Make sure you're drinking lots of water. I love to recommend 100 to 120 ounces per day for most women. If you're drinking 60, work your way up, right? Go to 80, go to 100, and then go up, okay? Space throughout the day, not chugging, okay? So anyway, yeah, so right now we'll do just regular corn tortilla, which actually also has fiber because the corn, 3 grams, which is cool. Okay, great. So we'll do that. And then let's say that we're going to add some black beans, and we're going to add, so black beans. Ladies, this is MyFitnessPal Premium. The ones with the green check marks show that they're verified and deemed more accurate than if they don't. So we always try to click that one. Okay, if you notice, I know I'm kind of going fast. So if you need me to slow down, let me know. So if you notice, the serving size says 0.5 cup and the number of servings says 1. But remember, we just said, don't use cups, don't use cups. So tap it and you should see either 1 gram or 1 ounce, and actually 1 milliliter is also the same on the scale and in MyFitnessPal, so those are actually interchangeable. I always aim for 1 gram or 1 milliliter. Okay, so if you remember our carb rule of thumb, it was like 60 to 175. I'm gonna go like 60 actually, because we also have carbs from the tortilla and we need to add vegetables, right? So I'm going to add some cabbage. Let's do, I think 100 is a lot. Let's do 50 grams of cabbage. And then maybe I'll slice up some bell pepper, saute them up. I love bell pepper. I'm going to do 150. And then we're going to do like some salsa. Okay. Yeah. For a condiment, if it's a low calorie condiment like sugar-free or salsa or ketchup or sugar-free barbecue sauce or something like that, 40 grams, great. I think 35 grams is a serving size according to the label. If it's like a high fat condiment, maybe like 15 grams. Dressings, right? 15 grams. Okay, so let's say 40. Okay. Now, this actually worked okay. If you see the macros, it's still 40 grams of protein, 40 carb, 5 fat. This is great. You could even add an avocado for more fiber, more carbohydrate. The problem that I thought may come up is, let's say that I wanted to do way more beans. I wouldn't suggest doing this much, but let's say I did this much. It's just pushing your protein up higher and higher and higher and higher, right? So the reason why it's so vital to really look at the total macros per meal, not just per item, is because other foods have macros in it. And so it could totally blast your macros up to a level that maybe you don't want. Okay. Does that make sense, ladies? Are you fully understanding like what I'm saying? Does this help you? I'm like, just for my mind, I need to take that down. So yeah, then again, I would add an avocado. Yeah, we'll do 45 grams. Yeah, so here's another example of a serving size, right? An avocado, I would say like 30 to 85 grams of avocado is great. Yeah, hefty meal, but lots of fruits and veggies, lots of fiber. You can check your fiber if you go to nutrition. So tomorrow and go to nutrients. Guys, percentages don't mean anything. They're so relative. Totally ignore them. Really start learning how to operate on grams, not percentages. So my fiber is already at 23 grams out of 25, ladies, if you can see that. Right here, right? Protein, carb, fiber. You can see it's at 23. You really don't want it for most ladies much over 25 because, again, that's how a lot of constipation can start. And then the scale goes up. It's just not a good day. Okay, so long story short, you really, 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 really want to make sure meal you have by meal, the macros. Cool. Thanks, Trish. I'm glad that's making sense. Beautiful. Ladies, any questions? Corey, I'm going to answer yours in just a sec. Ladies, any questions that you have? I definitely want to help you work through it. Okay, Miss Corey, I know you've probably touched on this before, but why is it important to hit all macros and not just protein? Such a good question. I went through this in a video. What was the video called? The video was actually called Why I Recommend Hitting All 3 Macros Instead of Just Protein. I think it was actually, or instead of just one. So I can tag you in that. And if anyone else wants that, you can just comment like hitting all macros video or something, and I'll certainly tag you in that. Yeah, so here's kind of a few reasons why. So let me go ahead and remove this. So the first reason is regulation, right? If one day you're eating, so let's say every day you're hitting your protein. Let's say every day you're hitting your calories. Great. Seems like great consistency, right? But if one day you're super low carb and high fat, and the next day you're high carb, low fat, you may start to get all this water retention in your cells because of the excess glucose from the day before. And now you're all bloated and puffy and the scale shut up and you think that you can't process carbs. It's like, no, that's not it at all. It's that there's so many excess carbs from the day prior that all of a sudden your body's holding all this water weight because it's like there's no stability, right? So hitting all 3 macros, allows for so much stability and regulation within your body. So you're not having all this bloat, unbloat, bloat, unbloat, pending that your food choices are good, right? If you're eating crappy food, you may still experience the bloat, but also being consistent with all 3 macros is going to help regulate hormones, right? This is actually something that we're going to talk through at the end of this month at our Master Your Fat Loss workshop. So get ready for more details for that. We're very excited. We're really going to dig into that. But it's really mainly to promote lots of stability, less ups and downs, less scale fluctuations, and allow your body to really learn how to process each macro. And it gives you more energy, more mental clarity. your body just, it's like equilibrium, right? But having the ups and downs, all this drasticness, although it's easier, it's not as good for your body, right? It's like a shortcut by only hitting protein and carb, not the other three. Certainly it's easier, but what are you training, right? Like we're here to train lifestyle, right? So we do use macros as a tool to train lifestyle. So that way, eventually, when you don't have to track macros anymore, it's so second nature to eat balanced meals. It's so second nature to be like, yeah, I eat a little bit of fat each meal. I eat this amount of carbs each meal. I get this amount of protein each meal. Also, when you get really stable and are hitting the right macros and learning that lifestyle, you actually can start to feel when you're not tracking, if you didn't eat enough protein, you can literally feel like, oh, my body needs more protein right now. It's wild. Same with fat, same with carb. You get so in tune with your body. But if you're not getting consistent and hitting those three macros, you're not really learning lifestyle techniques, right? Some, but definitely not to the extent. It's like half, right? Half is good, half results, half as much type thing. I lost my second train of thought. So it's lifestyle. The results definitely aren't as good, especially for weightlifting, right? Weightlifting, we need carbohydrate to really have the energy to go train. So it's like if you're not fueling your body for your training demands and what your lifestyle requires, you're going to feel lethargic. You're not going to get as good results. It just can cause a lot of problems. So I always recommend just bite the bullet, learn the lifestyle, track your macros, get consistent. It's not restriction, right? It's not restriction. It's learning what actually healthy means for your body, right? It's learning how to work in balance and play foods. It's learning how to approach different social situations. It's learning how to approach different meals in a healthy and sustainable way so you can maintain results, but also feel really good in your body, health-wise, mentally, physically, right? And all that. Cool. I hope that answered your question. But Corey, just remind me, love, I'll send you that video too. Cool. Got you, Trish. Yep. Love it, Renata. I love it. Renata, will you please click my name and send me a message and just say, I need all the videos and we'll send you over some. Okay, good, Corey. Yeah, especially, so Corey's coaching client, and Corey, I was gonna say, especially for you, because we are tracking progress so diligently, it's like, we wanna make sure you're getting amazing results being in this program, result-wise, like I just said, but also lifestyle-wise. So it's like, for you specifically too, it's like, girlfriend, hit all macros. Otherwise, measurements, like everything will be off the charts, up, down, up, down, up, down. It's like, it's so frustrating for women's minds. And then it's like, how can we possibly know what macro changes may need to be made if there's no stability in your body? It's just doing this ups and downs, right? So consistency is everything. Ladies, any other questions that you want me to go through? Let me delete this. Cool. Okay, great. Let me see if I had anything else for you. Yeah, fiber is so vital. Helps you feel so much better too. More regulation. Beautiful. Love it. Yeah, Corey, I think that's great. And it is slow because it's so much information, right? So it's okay. Slow is smooth and smooth is fast. Just one day at a time. You're just practicing and learning. Just one day at a time. You're doing amazing, truly. Cool. Ladies, if you have 15 or more pounds to lose and you want to get help from a coach so you can collapse time and get from point A to point B way faster and in a way without all the trial and error, but really just learning what your body needs so you can put that into practice, just comment coaching below. We'll send you a DM and just chat through, what are you experiencing right now? What are your dream goals? What are your dream goals, right? I don't want to hear the safe goals. I do want to hear those. I also want to hear the dream goals because it's very likely we can help you get there, right? So go ahead and comment coaching below or click my name, send me a message, and we'll talk through what you'd like to achieve and what you got going on. And then we'll share with you just how we can support you and what that would look like. Beautiful. All right, ladies, have a wonderful day. Thank you for being here. I'm so proud of you for soaking in knowledge and information, but remember, you must go apply it, right? Knowledge is not power. Knowledge with action is power. So make sure you go apply it. Just let me know if you have any questions. Again, click my name, send me a message. We're on Facebook all day long. So just let us know how we can support you. And we hope you have a really good day. Talk to you later.